D&D.
There's no last time yet.
First time on DVD.
DVD?
D&D. Yeah, I don't know. Too many D's.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What do we start with? Like, what's up? What's good?
Maybe start by describing shit. Like, you start, because you're the master.
Me start.
You're the friggin' DM, mate.
DM, yeah, you're the mastermind.
But yeah, I guess welcome. It's great to have you here. We are Ones for All. It's a new D&D podcast that we're trying to set up, get going. I'm your DM, Ryan. I'm joined by a few of my mates here that we've known each other for a little bit now. Most of us met on Twitch, streaming separately, and we'll post the links to people's Twitches in the Twitter, in the description on YouTube, and wherever we decide to stream it as well. This is session 0 of the campaign, and this is where we're introducing the characters and ourselves. And if that doesn't really sound like your thing, you can always skip to session 1, where we'll probably reintroduce the characters a touch, not as much as we do here. Yeah, guys, you want to introduce yourselves? I'm very bad at this.
Yeah?
I don't know if anyone's noticed.
Fucking professional.
I don't know what I'm doing yet. There's been no rehearsal of this part.
That's what session 0's for.
This is the rehearsal.
Yeah.
I am Carter. I'll be playing as the chromatic red-skinned dragonborn Davurin.
I'm Eli. I'll be playing as a human monk known as Tarvis.
I'm Jackson. I will be playing as a Leonin ranger called Anuto.
I'm Carl, and I'll be playing as a changeling rogue named Ivar.
Yeah, sweet as. I've played D&D for, I reckon I've been playing since maybe 21 or something.
Holy shit, like what was that, 13 years?
Shut your face. So I've been playing for, I reckon, 6 or 7 years. How long have you guys been playing D&D and that type of thing?
I started with Pathfinder about 6 years ago, roughly. Yes, Pathfinder and Dragon Age Tabletop Edition. We moved into D&D 5e a few months after that, and I've been an on and off DM since. So it's pretty nice to be a player for once.
Yeah, nice.
Played in a couple of different campaigns. I got pretty confused when someone wanted to play in like 2nd edition or even 4th edition. I was like, what's going on? What's that code about? I'm a bit confused. But then I got more into 5e, and it was always a good time.
I've played D&D once before, and it was for like 6 sessions maybe, and I was the DM, and that's it.
Yeah, cool. So you're fairly new.
Yeah.
I played briefly like years ago, and then I got back into it like I think about early last year, probably maybe the year before. I don't know. It's been a hot minute, but I never really was like huge into it, just because no one around me was like big into it. I always was interested in like it all. It all seemed really cool. That was about it.
And by cool, you mean super nerd. But we're here for it. Is there anything that, I don't know, stands out in D&D that, like, you love? Do you want to experience more in this campaign?
I like world building a lot. World building is cool, and just like the concept of being and creating whatever you can really think of is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, Eli, so you're saying that, I know I've talked to you about it before, that you've only DM'd, yeah? You haven't been in the player seat?
Yeah, no, I've only DM'd. I've made a character, like I made just for like fun, but I never used that character, so like I've only ever DM'd.
Yeah, cool. So Tarvis will be first character that you're playing?
Yeah, my first guy.
It's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. That's why I went sort of basic on the human side of things.
Everyone's first character is usually human.
I mean, that's not a bad thing as well.
No, it's not.
I think my first character is human. Not my favorite character. But yeah.
I know some of our characters are a bit extra book type thing, not in the player's handbook, but I mean that's alright.
Mine's Player Handbook Plus.
I think it's a good starting point to not go too in depth. Otherwise, you can kind of trip up yourself on like all the things you can do.
Yeah.
And then you look back later and you're like, oh, I could have done all of this, and there's so much. Like, god damn
Yeah.
it.
So we've said character names, yeah.
I've also described my character physically.
Yeah, cool. What about everyone else? Be as descriptive as you want, I guess, because, I mean, we probably will touch on it in session 1 again, but, the more detail, the better, because it is only a audio medium.
This is true.
Yeah, until we do the animated series.
That's we were talking about getting art done for characters once we have descriptions, just to have a slight visual, just to have it be cool.
Mine's going to be the easiest one ever. You just have to look at his portrait and go, oh, basic Dragonborn. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, Carter, is there anything about what was his name shortened to? Daan?
Yeah, done.
If one of our characters is like, oh, Daan, like is that just referring to Carter's character? Like that's how you pronounce it?
That's exactly it.
You stub your toe, Don.
Yeah, Dan. His full name is Davuran, but it's shortened to Dan.
Yeah, cool. And you're a red chromatic Dragonborn, but is there any other defining features about your guy?
He's not all that nondescript from anyone else. Kind of your basic, but he looks like your basic fighter. Decent set of armor, a notable blade, really. But that's part it. Like, he's honestly, if you go to a Dragonborn settlement, you'd imagine he'd fit in there perfectly.
Like any scars or jewelry or anything he wears?
A couple of notable scars. Jewelry, not on his person. He's not one of a gaudy persuasion. Tends to focus on being as nondescript as possible, just to fit in where he goes. A couple of notable scars would be probably, I think I described in the backstory, one on his neck, and probably a few on his arms.
Yeah, cool. You touched on backstory. I know that, Carter, you've written an extensive backstory, and I mean, the rest of you, I'm sure, have got things you've definitely shared with me, a significant part of your backstory, but I don't know if you've got it all written down and stuff. But I was thinking that could be something that we could release on Twitter type thing. If people are interested in that, you can go to the Twitter and maybe see like a couple of pages on Daan's backstory, and then I don't know, a couple of weeks we'll release Ivar's backstory. Maybe as it becomes relevant in the story, or once we've passed that section in the story. So still, we're not like giving any spoilers type thing, but
what I'd reckon I'd do is I'd post the part of his backstory that I told at the end, where it was like just before he started adventuring, so that way it keeps the bigger part of his backstory hidden.
Yeah. We could all timeline our way to the start of the campaign and then post that.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Do glasses exist in D&D?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, goggles.
Well, I got was just like glasses, like
Yep.
spectacles.
I
Yeah.
assume so. I assume, like, with magic and all that, like, even if you look at medieval times, they had bifocals, multifocals, all that.
I have another character with a friggin' monocle.
I've got contact lenses in my inventory, so I assume glasses would also be made.
Ah.
but yeah, Carter, is there anything else you want to tell us about Daan?
I have nothing really else to add without giving away too much about him.
Yeah, that's fair. Jackson, do you want to tell us a bit about Anudo?
Yeah, he is like a chubbier than most Leonin. I don't know if many people are familiar with the Leonin. It's like a lion humanoid race. White furred, so just like Rengar if he sat on his ass for a whole year, I guess. I think if you were to look at him for just a glance, you'd be like, oh yeah, he cooks stuff. And then I think as you look at him more, you go, oh, hang on. He's gonna get you, like, he's gonna go hunting, he's gonna fight someone. Despite his weapon of choice being a giant wooden spoon.
Yeah, and I think that's a is it a quarterstaff or a mace that we've?
Yeah, it's like a reflavored quarterstaff that he'll cast Shillelagh on. It's like a giant wooden spoon. Also, I think He's got little bits and bobs of like berries or like roots or other things in his mane as well.
Okay, cool.
Just chef things.
Yeah.
Anything else like a scar, chip in the ear, or
I really thought about any like distinguishable facial features at the moment. I don't think. Oh, look, I'd say he might have like a subtle burn mark on his face somewhere, but I haven't decided where yet.
no, yeah, sick.
But I think he'd have a little burn mark somewhere.
Fleshes them out.
Hell yeah. Ivar is a changeling from Waterdeep who grew up on the streets and stole things to survive, and had run-ins with some people and ended up in some not so great places. And yeah, I just mainly just was hanging around the streets and stuff, stealing and thieving and copying people.
I get the feeling Dan and Ivar will get along.
Yeah, it's interesting about changelings that I should have looked it up because then I'd be prepared. But like, do they have like a changeling form, or is it?
They do have a base form.
Yeah, and does Ivar spend a lot of time in that base form, or is it you constantly
not really,
looking like someone else?
Constantly looking like someone else, mainly because in Waterdeep it's pretty fine. There's a big variety of races just walking around, but most other places are pretty racist. Especially when you can look like anyone, you're probably not wanted in most places.
Yeah,
So you're probably not trusted. Yeah, so he's a bit hardened by the streets and just doing what it takes to survive.
So what do you look like now?
At the moment, I look like I wrote this down. Give me a second. I'm fucking totally prepared.
2 minutes late.
Mate, I will end you in a video game.
That's it. Boot up Soul Calibur now. I'm nightmaring your ass.
But yeah, at the moment, the main look that Ivar rolls with is short blonde hair.
Mhm.
He has blue eyes. He's about 6 foot in height. He's got like he's sort of not like extremely pale, but just like he doesn't see a lot of sun. Similar to his normal skin, but not giving it away.
Yeah, cool. And was that like Ivar's own creation, or I don't know if changelings can do that, or if it's like a ditto type thing where you have to see someone to be able to turn into them?
It's sort of just like a mixture of a few different appearances.
Yeah, cool. So it's a mixture to make something unique. Sounds good.
Got your nose.
Tarvis is like he's got like lean muscle. He's pretty skinny because he spent most of his time before actually joining the adventure as a teacher, like a lecturer sort of thing, and so he didn't really do much fighting. But being a monk, he like maintained his fitness. I haven't really thought of like specifics on like height and stuff, but like average height for a human, I would say Caucasian, and he because monks obviously don't use a weapon. He like needs freedom of movement, so he usually only wears like an overcoat or like a big jacket with like nothing underneath, so he can like easily like take it off.
A big jacket with nothing underneath. What?
Like he doesn't wear like an undershirt or anything. So he's still like covered. Like,
wanna buy a
But, like-
sundial?
Oh, he's like Grey from Fairy Tale. He's constantly taking his shirt off. Like, where is your shirt gone?
yeah, for no reason. He'll use any excuse to just rip it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much Tarvis. In terms of like his backstory, he's from like not like a hidden monk village, but not like a really like well populated monk village off to the east of the Sword Coast. East is to the right, yeah, east. And then, but like the couple years prior to him joining the party or like the adventure, he wandered around as a teacher.
You've all said stuff about the appearances and stuff, but like we're still all building characters, so like unless like Jackson said that Anudo's got a burn on his face.
Little burn mark.
Yeah, a little burn mark. So, but you say you didn't mention that he doesn't have a golden hoop earring. So if that comes up later on that, oh no, I take out my golden hoop earring that I've been wearing the entire time, like that's fine. You know, you never mentioned that you didn't.
You can't see it. He's got a mane over his ears. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's right, yeah. As most D&D characters happen to be, they get fleshed out and more detail gets added to them as the story goes along, which I think is just great about D&D. Have you guys thought of like your characters' personalities, like who they are rather than what they look like?
Honestly, Darn's been a bit of a pretty easy for me. He looks as intimidating as any Dragonborn would in this kind of scenario, but he is literally just... He's in it for the adventure right now, the company, and just meeting new people. Like, very approachable when you realise that he's not actually going to try and bite your face off. Just don't be a part of the faction he wants to actually bite their faces off.
I'd say Tarvis is wary of people. Like, he's not trusting of people, but like he's not like unapproachable. Like, he's still like polite and friendly, but like he won't spill like secrets, sort of thing. Like on the first day,
Yeah.
keep people at an arm's length.
Yeah, cool. I mean, we've got a long time that we'll be playing for.
Mm.
I'm sure the characters will grow to know each other over the time.
Obviously, for like his friends and stuff, not that he has any. But like if he had friends, then he would be more trusting and more close with people.
I think the skeleton of what Anudo might be like at the moment, it might change. I'd say like he's probably going to be pretty good-willed, but he's also going to be pretty stupid. And I think I'm excited to play a character that is a bit dumb. I've usually played a character that has like, even when I'm not like a wizard, I'm usually playing a character that has like, highest intelligence. It's like, okay, well, I should probably roleplay someone that's going to call some of the shots. But now I kind of get to sit back and just make a stupid comment because my character doesn't understand what the plan is. But I think he's going to have, I'm going to see how I'm going to flesh out like other kind of smarts that he will possess, so that it's not always something that's just like, oh my goodness, Anudo, what are you doing?
You've also got a high wisdom stat because you're a ranger, don't forget.
Yeah,
So
that kind of thing.
you can be very nuanced with, hey, you're not the brightest cookie in the shed, but you know the cookie doesn't go in the shed.
Anudo can make you a cookie. That's what he's about.
Well, you have like natural instinct, like type of thing when it comes to combat, because obviously hunting down his own food would give him some type of instinct.
Yes, there are instincts like hunting and fighting that he will be good at.
I reckon. So Ivar's gonna be more of just like won't jump straight into combat, likes to talk his way out of things and sort of not so much weasel his way out of stuff, but he can fight, but he prefers not to, and will go for talking over stabbing someone in the face.
Yeah, excellent. Saves from having a whole party of murder hobos.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan here. Just wanted to check in at the halfway point. In future episodes, this is where we may have ad reads and the like, but that may be getting ahead of ourselves. For now, I just want to thank you for listening. We're very new to this and quite nervous, but I'm sure that's obvious. For instance, this is my first time editing anything, so if you notice anything I'm doing wrong or could be doing better, let me know. We are always happy to receive feedback, tips, and tricks. We are also terrible at promoting and advertising, and it would really help us and mean a lot that if you're liking the show, you could share it around in the socials and in your party's group chats. We will be keeping an eye out for people who share the show around, and I'll try to thank as many of you as I can. Some of you might even get an NPC named after you. And that's about it. Remember, you can always let us know what you think about the show at any one of our streams. You can find the links in the description. Enjoy the rest of Session 0.
Spoken about our characters, why don't you fill us in on the world a little bit?
Yeah, cool. So I've decided to base the story in Faerun, which is the default world, I guess, for D&D. So I'm hoping to be able to explore different sections of up and down the Sword Coast and different places of Faerun throughout the campaign. I'm hoping I've got a mechanism that lets us have different places without getting too spoilery. Hopefully we'll be able to have different locations, different sceneries, different challenges from, I guess not episode to episode, but maybe chapter to chapter. That should keep it hopefully fresh and entertaining for You guys and, of course, everyone listening.
I like it.
But I don't know if I've told you guys yet, but we're starting in the Friendly Arms Inn, which is, Carl and Jackson and me played through Baldur's Gate, like the old computer game, came out in 1998, and Friendly Arms Inn is a prominent location in that game.
So is there going to be any situations around that inn that may have been caused by your characters in Baldur's Gate that some of us are probably going to have no context of, while those who were there are going...
No, I hadn't really thought of that, unless maybe Immerwin's body's in the corner or something, but I didn't.
Everyone's alive. You too.
I hadn't planned on any of that, no.
So are we gonna all start already like in the party, or are we just gonna start like separately in the inn, and then that's how we sort of meet each other?
Well, I know Carl and Jackson have spoken to me that Ivar and Anudo will like know each other in passing.
Well, we were going to work together slightly.
Yep.
Well, Don, I declared at the end of the backstory, he was going to take the time to go become an adventurer, so obviously it wasn't straight from the backstory to this point. There's a gap in between where he might have met people between jobs.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys, because we're starting at level 2, is there any adventures or anything that you guys had in mind that your characters have done to level up, to get from level 1 to level 2?
Mine's all backstory.
Yeah?
Yeah, I filled you in on it briefly. I can fill you on it again later.
So, yeah, keeping it close to your chest, that's fine.
Yeah, it's probably something to be revealed later.
Mine's sort of backstory, but like pretty much I've been going around to a few different towns, asking questions / interrogating people, and just naturally, like through my gain of knowledge, I leveled up.
Beating up a few challenge rating 1/4 thugs.
Yeah, beating up a few people basically. Gotten the answers I needed. Leveled up.
That might actually be an amusing combination for Don to have met him as well, because that's kind of how Don leveled up too. He more or less just classic mentor to trainer, and then he's basically God, I'm going to do my own thing, and at some point become pretty good at infiltration in his own way, to the point that everything he was looking for, the information ran dry. So you might have met one of his personas. Maybe you beat him up.
I was like, you look familiar. Have I beaten you up before? I kicked the shit out of you before.
That'd be hilarious.
Jackson, you said the last time we spoke about it that you would be working in the Friendly Arms Inn as a chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was thinking was that I was caught stealing and could not pay, and was forced to work there to pay off my meal that I couldn't pay for.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's how we kind of got talking and know each other.
Oh, yeah. That sounds pretty good. I guess before my character would have started working there, how he got to level 2, the experience that he had in the woods after leaving hometown, and then, maybe 1 or 2 of the places he might have cooked at before, maybe there was an attack there, and he might have helped fight and protect people, but then he was still possibly not downcasted on, but something you're going to kind of figure out about it is that after combat, he might just start cooking whatever enemy you just defeated, which probably would have weirded out the villagers he just saved. So they would have been like, yeah, you can't stay around here.
But that orc can make some good filet mignon.
As they're about to offer this honorable protecting job, he just starts cooking up bandits.
Rips off an arm.
He just rips off an arm and starts munching. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Pulls out a meat cleaver and starts cleaving up orc legs. This is some good jerky.
I can picture some of the villagers, like, you need to join our guard. You're strong and capable in combat. And he's like, no, not about that life. More about burritos. I've heard some of Dan's and some of Anudo's voice, as Jackson just showed us.
Yeah, I'm still deciding if it's that or more of a Cronkish voice.
Yep. I was saying to Jackson earlier that I've been practicing voices for the campaign, and it has never been more apparent to me that I cannot do them. None of us are voice actors.
I am aspiring.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, got the voice booth upstairs.
I especially, I'll do a voice. I'm like, yeah, that's way different to the last voice I did. No, that's exactly the same.
It's rough.
Yeah, they're not easy.
I was going through my Snapchat videos earlier because that's how I sent the one in the Discord, and I was just like, "Oh, the original one." It was just, like, "I am Devorin." It's like, "No, I am Devorin, and it's staying this way." I like deep and dark.
So, Carl and Eli, have you thought of Ivar and Tarvis's voice?
I'm still sort of working on it. I have not been practicing too much. I need to watch a bunch of stuff. I think he's going to sound kind of slightly English.
How very teen biscuits of you.
Have like a very like breathy voice.
You're lucky with Ivar because being a changeling, you can honestly have any voice you want.
Yeah, any other character is going to have different voice, different appearance. I'm going to have to write down a book full of characters in case I get tested on it.
Yeah, can they change their voice?
Well, I mean, changeling lore, they usually have 3 individuals that they identify as, and any other persona they make is usually on the spot. So the easiest way to do it is like the core one, which is your character right now, then their natural state, and then 2 more. Like,
Yeah, it'll be very fun. I wanted to try it out because there's a lot to it, and I feel like it fits very well for either a rogue or a bard. Like a one-man show bard sounds awesome as well, but I was like, no, I'll do a rogue.
Oh, that could have been cool, actually.
Like a performing arts bard, yeah. That was my other idea, but I was like, I just played a bard in the last campaign I was in. I want to switch it up a bit. But I'm thinking if I change into some other face for a certain situation, and then say we run into that person again, I'm going to need to remember what this person looked like.
What's different to normal D&D campaigns is that it's to be recorded, so once we've reached episode 50, we'll be able to go back and look at episode 1 and be like, oh yeah, the characters sounded way different. And what about you, Eli? What's Tarvis's voice sound like?
I haven't really worked on one mainly because any voice like I tried to do, I couldn't like maintain for like a decent amount of like sentences.
an easy go-to is maybe try impersonating a more serious version of yourself.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's just me, but like more deadpan.
One thing I was struggling with when I was coming up with voices for the different NPCs that are going to be in the campaign was that I could do a voice, like, yeah, all right, I've given this person a voice, but then if that person ever gets angry, like, oh, okay, yeah, I can't do that voice while angry.
I can't wait to make all of them angry.
Yeah.
Being a DM, I find it's easier to just have the race, a name, and what they do. Have a default voice for the race. You can just add a slight twinge to it just to make it that character and that role. So naturally, if you have like a dwarven blacksmith, naturally they're gonna be talking like this, eh? That's a Canadian.
Usually I default dwarves to be like a Scottish thing, but apparently, no, Canadian. Canadian's cool too.
Yeah, that's what I meant to do, but for some reason it came out Canadian. You're a Canadian little lad, aren't you? I'm from the snowy tops of Mount Your Mother. I used to have knees. What happened? Lumberjack accident. Now I'm a dwarf. I'm stumped. You can call me the woodsman.
Right, that's an NPC. Done. I'm going to say I met the woodsman in the woods. I'm locking that in. I know Dwarvish. Now I have a reason that I know Dwarvish.
All my bandits become lads.
Just make Carter do all the voices.
No, yeah, that's fair. I know I've spoken to a few of you, I think, about if we get to the end of this campaign and it looks like we're going to start another one, whether, you know, I'm not necessarily the forever DM, whether someone else wants to take the reins or maybe we're just happy with how things are going. Well, I guess we'll figure it out.
I plan to run a D&D campaign soon. I'm just going to do everything for it still.
I don't know how long I'm expecting this campaign to go for. I mean, depending on what you guys do.
Do you have an end goal in mind?
I do have an end goal in mind.
Ooh.
I've had a look at each of your backstories and I'm hoping that we can have a chapter on each of them that I can't say much more.
Yeah, the biggest thing I had, because I did have to cut a lot out, is I didn't want to give you too much where it's just like, now I've got too much shit to work with.
Yeah.
Because I gave you a lot.
Yeah. I hope you're all happy with what I end up doing with all of the stories. I hope it does your characters justice.
Honestly, everything I've given you is the desired outcome. But honestly, everywhere you go is all you. I'm just keen to see what you do with it. You're telling the story, we're kind of just filling in the blanks.
But I just wanted the story to go how I wanted it to go. I could have written a book, but we're playing D&D, and I look forward to you guys killing the big bad on first meeting. Some little gnome comes out of a side alley and says, "Oh, do you want to buy some death sticks?" And you go, "No," and kill him. And I was like, "Oh no, that was the big bad. Look, just checking in up on you." Ooh.
We're gonna make a campaign to a PSA, mate.
Ah, you look delicious. Time to make a gnome casserole.
I'll try not to make it too railroady, but I think for the medium that we're doing, we're trying to tell a story, and if it's like, all right, we've now spent 6 sessions talking to a chicken,
You'll know when to make it a little railroady. Things sort of need a path to go on occasionally if they get too off path. Hopefully Ivar can stop everyone from stabbing everyone we meet.
Character development.
character growth is going to be, I think, one of the main focuses of the campaign.
Especially character growth around each other's characters.
Yeah, story is important, but the thing I love most about D&D and tabletop RPGs is the character growth and the characters' interactions with each other.
That is one of the best parts about D&D too.
I know every character that I make, I try to give them plenty of flaws that they have to work through and overcome.
My character is ratting out the whole group to the god.
That's right, yeah. Please don't hate me.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why I'm keen to join, because I've seen a couple of your characters and the flaws are notable. You literally say, "Hey, I'm doing this on purpose."
So my characters sort of develop flaws as stuff happens. Like I'll see something and then in my mind I'll be like, "Let's do it. Just trust the RP." Sometimes you just gotta do things for the RP. That's a character trait.
Yeah.
In a previous character, found something, drank it, almost died. Like day one.
That's a character trait now. Did you think about him being an alcoholic before you found the bottle of wine?
He was an alcoholic, yes. He went from bar to bar looking for his brother.
But that helped him overcome his addiction.
That did. To wine, at least. Everything else.
Need some fireball.
But just stuff like that, where it's like, this will be fun. Yeah, let's do it for role-playing sake. Let's not think smart. Let's think fun.
One thing I should have added to Nudo for what he's about. He's a glutton. He's free-spirited and he's a glutton. Those are 2 pretty big things.
Yeah, there's no bin at the tavern. It's just Anuda.
It's just me opening my mouth.
Yeah, a Nudo in the back eating like a Dragon Ball Z character.
It's like you know I'm a dishwasher.
Just hear plates shattering as a Nudo's shoved it into his mouth.
I need to put those away.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to eat that. Could I?
But yeah, is there anything else anyone else wanted to mention, character-wise or just podcast-wise?
Podcast-wise, we were thinking that eventually, at some point down the road during this, we will probably get other people that we know in to do guest spots.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Not just to take things off my plate, but to keep it a bit more unpredictable. I don't know how you played, Eli. I know Jackson, Carl, and Carter, every time that we've played together, we've been rolling our own dice. I think it's worth mentioning here that we've decided that I'll be rolling all the dice. It lets you guys focus more on roleplay and just deciding what your character's doing rather than, should I do this? I've only got a +4 and...
Yeah, less focused on numbers.
It makes it more fluid, so that way it's just like, hey, you're out of that.
Yeah, we'll figure out whether, if you want to make a persuasion check, whether maybe you do the persuasion first and then I roll with advantage if I think it's good, or maybe I do the check first and then if it's like a natural 1, you purposely have a Nudo walk up and say, food, or just walk up and belch loudly in their face.
I think that's the best way to play it. Like, I don't subscribe to the idea of like, hey, I'd like to persuasion check this individual. It's like, well, persuade me.
So you're telling me that I gotta get better at persuading people?
You don't just say my character does this. Like, it's roleplay. Do it.
Yeah. If you shittily persuade them, I'm rolling with disadvantage, bitch.
I have intimidation, but mine's just going to be like cooking them.
Oh my god, a Nudo is going to have so much fun with intimidation checks because he can be just sitting there cleaning a knife.
I have an excellent recipe for that.
Alright, so I'm just gonna be getting intimidated by you guys all the time. Amazing. Great.
Oh, I've got just a dip for your balls.
Maybe we should just quickly establish like who would know who, because we've got a rough idea, but the only people who know each other would be Ivar and Anudo.
How I've started the campaign, like really none of you had to know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope how I've started it, it's natural that you guys would join up together. But if not, then we can redo it. I'll think harder.
I like the idea that Tarvis accidentally beat up Dan. When he's occasionally beaten down a few thugs in an alley, maybe he's bumped into Dan after he's been roughed up.
And just punch Buzz.
So Dan's sitting there in the pub with an ale going, that Hume looks familiar. He just doesn't remember. He just remembers waking up in an alley and there's just people unconscious around him like, was that me?
But yeah, I guess thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you all in session 1 for the start of the campaign where we actually play D&D. Hey, me again. Just wanted to thank everyone who has had a hand in making this podcast come to life, gets the recognition they deserve. I wanted to thank our friend Kevin and his band Battle Bards for letting us use the music that you heard for the intro and outro as well as the middle section. They make some really sick music that has like a D&D flavour, so if that sounds like your jam, definitely check them out. We also wanted to thank friend of the show and amazing artist Static Salamander for making our awesome profile picture. If things go well, we will definitely be using them again to get characters and other art done for the show. A thank you goes out to H and Outback for helping us by listening to the show early and giving their thoughts on the podcast before it went live so that we can make the show as good as we can. We'll be looking out on the socials for people who share the show around to include in thank yous for later episodes. Or if you wanted any personal messages sent out, let us know on Twitter. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in seeing how the show goes. And all our links to the socials are in the description. And of course, lastly, thank you for watching, once for all.